I used a range of different digital technologies in the construction of my planning, research, the ancillary tasks, as well as the main task and my valuation, including Publisher for my poster, Word for my film review. We used Final Cut Pro to edit our final film, and I also used that in the construction of one of my analyses. I also used Movie Maker quite a lot when I was at home because I don't have access to Final Cut Pro at home, so that was the only thing I could use to edit some of my videos. So things such as my film noir research, things like that, I've used Movie Maker for, as well as uploading everything to YouTube, all of our editing videos. We did a video diary. So yeah, I've used a large range of different digital technologies and really made use of them, I think. Throughout the construction of research for the film noir task, I used a range of different technologies. I used Movie Maker to create this film noir research film. I also used Final Cut Pro in order to create an analysis for Stranger on the Third Floor. Additionally, I also used Prezi, which worked quite well. It was easy to map out your ideas and put them in a nice animated way. It was better than just writing them down as a list on my blog, and I felt that it really helped me to explore my ideas and think a lot more about them, so that was really useful as well. Throughout the planning stages of our noir short, we communicated via a Facebook group that we had made, and that was really useful because we were able to share documents, photos, anything we wanted, and it was really helpful in organising our filming schedule and other aspects of the filming that were necessary. I also put together an animatic storyboard in which I did a voiceover detailing what was in the scenes and what the editing was going to be like when it was finished, and for that I used Movie Maker. I thought that worked quite well as sort of a prelude to the real film because it gave us an idea of what things would look like, and I think that was really worth doing. For the construction of my film poster, I used Microsoft Publisher on the computers at school, and that worked very well because the text was easily manipulatable, so I was able to move that around as to where I wanted it. I had the option of saving it as a PDF, which was very helpful with being able to upload it to my blog. I was able to use a PDF to JPEG converter, so that worked really well, and that was good. Additionally, for my film review, I used Microsoft Word because unfortunately I don't have Publisher at home, but it wasn't, I expected it to be a bit hard to work with, but it was absolutely fine. I was able to put my text into columns in the way that you would want a film review to be and easily move around the images and stuff that I wanted to use, so that also worked quite well, although had I the choice I would have rather used Publisher. For the construction of our main task, we used Charlie's Canon 660D in order to film, and he had his own tripod, so we had access to that at all times, and it worked really well. A problem we had last year with our AS course is that we had to convert all of our files, but this time they were already in MP4, so it was absolutely fine, and that worked really well. One problem we did have was our use of an external mic we thought would be directional and make the sound quality a lot better, and that was the case for the close-up shots such as Ellie in the phone box. The sound was very good, but a problem we did have was that in more open spaces it picked up a lot of background noise, and we weren't really sure as to how to get rid of that. We did consult our friend Joel, who is in the year below us, and he showed us how to put faders onto the audio in order to dampen down the background noise. The only trouble with that was that it made the voices sound distorted, and in the end we deleted the sound that we didn't need, so we had as little background noise as possible, and we just had to make do and keep the rest. But I think with the added use of music, it was hidden a bit more, and that did work fine in the end. We edited our final film using Final Cut Pro, and this worked very well for us because after doing it at AS level we now are more familiar with the programme and know a lot more about how to use it. The main features we used were colour correction, because we wanted the whole film to be in a darker noir style. So we did this using the colour corrector wheels, and we changed the contrast by moving the blacks and whites around in order to make the contrast higher. And we also toned down the saturation by moving the saturation bar to the left, and that worked very well. On some shots we had to use the actual colour parts of the wheels, for example by the lamppost, because at some points the lamppost wasn't on and then it was, so we used the orangey glow in order to make it look like the lamppost was on all the time to aid our continuity, and that worked very well. And overall I think the programme worked very well for us and gave us a really professional finish. Throughout the construction of our main task, we additionally used video diaries in order to keep track of our progress, especially with editing, because it was quite important to know how we were getting on, and it was a good way of making it easy for us to reflect on what we were doing. And we used YouTube in order to upload all of these so that they were accessible on our blogs, and I found that this was a really good way to be able to watch back what we were doing. We were able to keep notes of what needed to be done in the next session. We set goals at the start of every session, and it made our work a lot more organised and worked really well for us. In preparation for the evaluation of the correspondent, I made use of social media in order to gain feedback, especially for question 3, because that centred around audience feedback. I made use of sites such as Twitter and Facebook. I also posted the link on my blog on Tumblr. So I just put the link to the YouTube out there to see if people would be able to comment on it and give feedback, and a couple of people did. I also sent it to my friends via Facebook chat. I emailed it to my boss because we'd used his pub in order to film in. I also got my mum to share it on her Facebook so that her friends could see it. So really, social media worked really well and get the film out there, and it's had quite a lot of views now, so we know that people have watched it and we've got a lot of feedback from that, so that worked really well. And I think in the digital age it's important to have things online and be able to share them via sites such as Facebook and Twitter, because that's the way people get to know about things, and I think that worked really well. Aside from social media, the digital media I used in preparation for my evaluation was Movie Maker. All the films for the evaluation have been made using Movie Maker, and although preferably I'd like to use something such as Final Cut Pro like we edited our main film on, unfortunately I don't have access to that at home. But I did look at alternatives such as a program called Lightworks, but unfortunately my laptop doesn't support that. But I had previously made one of my videos on it. I think it was the film noir research one, my initial film noir research video. That was done using Lightworks, and that worked quite well, although it was quite different to Final Cut Pro. So yeah, the Final Cut would definitely be my editing software of choice if I was able to use it, but Movie Maker has worked well. I'm able to do voiceovers, I've been able to use crossface and stuff, add in music when necessary, and cut the clips up to the size I want them. So that's worked well as well. All in all, I feel that my use of digital technologies has really helped within this project. I've made good use of sites such as YouTube and Twitter and Facebook in order to gain audience feedback and contribute to the final task. I also really liked how we used video diaries in order to keep track of what we were doing. That was really helpful, and I definitely recommend that and do that again. Obviously the most important program to us was Final Cut Pro, because that's what we edited our whole film on. So that worked really well. I like the software, and I now feel much more confident with it than I used to, which is good. And obviously there are still things that we'd like to go back and change. There are a couple of things when watching the film again that I would like to change, such as the opening shot. That is now something that bugs me and I would like to change, but it's done now. And all in all, I'm very happy with the correspondent, and yeah, I'm very proud of us.